Hey, Changemaker, our upcoming Aquarius New Moon speaks with Gandhi. Be the change you wish to see in the world. And this new moon reminds you that yes, change indeed starts from within. So listen in. Welcome to Star Powered Astrology for Changemakers. I'm Leslie Tagorda, your guide, a Hawaii born Filipino Jewish astrologer who loves navigating visionaries like you through the spiritual journey of your work so that you can be inspired to lead by your chart and become the luminary leader you were born to be. Hello, hello, Luminary. It's Leslie Tagorda back with another episode, this time on the Aquarius New Moon that happens this Friday at 2:59 p.m. Pacific, 5:59 p.m. Eastern. You might be able to hear some congestion in my voice, and if you're watching on YouTube, you might notice that I'm a little bit uh, I've really been suffering through COVID this last week. It really took me as a surprise, and I had no idea. The last time I had COVID, it was barely a tickle in my nose and just like a little bit of a sneeze here and there. And this time it was just like total knockout. And just when I was just getting back into my role, like feeling so much better than I had been, and feeling strong and feeling excited about things. And then COVID's like, nope, you still need to rest. Boop. And so literally just like floored, not being able to do anything. So sorry, clients, if I haven't, having to reschedule. I really appreciate your flexibility. And then this week, just being in a total cram town because next week I'm going on a well-deserved vacation for my birthday week with some of like my best friends. We're traveling down to Mexico, and secret out, but I have never been to Mexico before. This is just absolutely crazy that I've made it this long in my life. Well, I'm super excited to go and play, and I'm vowing to myself to not even bring a computer. I'm just going there and relaxing with my friends. Well deserved. Well, this Aquarius new moon, but so coming back to the Aquarius new moon, I really wanted to get this episode into you because this Aquarius new moon, um, I'm an Aquarius, right? I'm born on Valentine's Day. I love Aquarius. And in the past, if you listen to some of the Aquarius new moon episodes from before, I'm like, think big. What's your vision of the future? What is the social impact that you want to make? And absolutely, those things are still all about Aquarius. But what I found about this particular chart, and as I was going through the mini readings for my clients, is that this new moon is really saying, my friend, if you've been working on all of this change and trying to be the leader and trying to make social impact and trying to do this and trying to do that, yes, I know there's no try, there is do or do not. So maybe not able to make the change that you desire. It's simply because there is a change in you, within you, that has yet to need to either be get started cracking open or crack open even wider for your true breakthrough to happen. Now, I think like with my kind of story about just like feeling with COVID and um this long year of being in grief and then finally getting back on my feet and then being slammed down with COVID, I really have been feeling like on that kind of hamster in the wheel, just like trying to make the moves and just like not going anywhere. And I have to take it as there is just still some inner work that I haven't fully addressed. If when you're sick, if I don't know if you're like me, but like when I'm sick, I kind of go into like this depression blues mode and like everything is wrong. And what I noticed is that my comparison kryptonite is still there operating so loud and so strong because of course I'm with COVID, and if I'm not napping, what am I doing? I'm doom scrolling. And as I'm doom scrolling, I'm like, oh, look at that astrologer and what they're doing. Oh, why can't I be that big? Oh, look at that astrologer and what they're doing. Oh, I can do that. And just this comparison. And I'm like, there we go. That's that my kryptonite coming right back and getting at me. Interesting, right? That as an Aquarius, we are meant to, or the Aquarius archetype, and you have Aquarius in your chart somewhere, shows you where you need to differentiate, where you need to change, where you need to own your differences, and fly your beautiful bedazzled freak flag, right, with pride. um that's like the Aquarius archetype. And it's so interesting that part of the shadow of that Aquarius is that desire to really just blend in and fit in order to belong. And to me, that kind of comparisonitis is really part of just like that blending in and fitting in. And I know that I need to revisit this one more time. I'll probably need to revisit this over and over and over and over again. But I'm not judging myself and I'm not judging you. If you've also kind of felt like stuck in place, wanting and desiring to make these changes, but things just feeling like they're not happening. And I just want to let you know this is all in divine timing because we have a long rampway from this particular new moon all the way until April when we have that beautiful, ginormous Uranus Jupiter conjunction in Taurus. To me, I've been talking about and go back and listen to the five astrology transits of 2024 for entrepreneurs, because we are right at the beginning of these sets of transits. Pluto moved into Aquarius, then we have this new moon, which I'm going to talk more about. Then we have North Node meeting up with Chiron, which is opening up this another level of vulnerable leadership. Then we're getting that eclipse that's conjunct Chiron, which is like throwing you into your collective leadership. And then we have that Uranus Jupiter conjunction in Taurus, which is just expanding everything for like just massive progress in a way that feels safe within the body. All of these things are waiting for us. And this Aquarius new moon is our spark, is our start to say, okay, what do we still need to crack open within ourselves? Now, even if you've been doing the heavy lifting of like facing your fears, facing your shames, facing your bad behaviors that, get you stuck or like have you slide back, right? Just like me. um it's this is your chance to say, okay, I'm going to spark out. I'm going to spark out of this. I'm going to face my fears. I am going to set my intention, ask the universe for help, because after all, setting a clear intention is you asking the universe for what you desire. When we can clearly ask the universe what we desire, then the universe can easily show us the way to do that. We don't have to worry about the strategies. We don't have to worry about the hows. Now, as you start to embody this Aquarius archetype and thinking about all the places where you haven't yet made that change that you want, the places where you might be feeling stuck, remember that Aquarius, an air sign, is the water bearer, right? It's that person who holds this beautiful amphora of water. And that water is actually the vessel of knowledge, pouring forth to share with society, to make it a more just place for all. And that to embody this Aquarius archetype is to not only have a vision of the future that you want to create and to call in your community with shared values and make an impact, but it is also for you to be pouring your knowledge into society. So, if you get true with yourself and want to know that places of cracking open, by understanding the fears that keep you from pouring your knowledge forth into society, will give you a clue into that place that you need to crack open and change this new moon. Now, coming back to just like the new moon in general, I've themed this moon change begins with you. And to me, this is the new moon that really, really sparks 2024 because, we have our Capricorn new moon that may happen before or after the new year. This time it happened after the new year, but we are like just kind of really deep in hibernation mode, not really yet ready to make forward momentum. Maybe you've already set some goals for yourself. Maybe you haven't, but this is now one of your new chances. So, the Aquarius new moon always heralds in the Lunar New Year, celebrated by billions in Asia and now globally. In Chinese astrology, this Lunar New Year brings in the year of the wood dragon. The dragon is yang, active energy that symbolizes change, power, opportunity, and success. Now, I am not an expert in Chinese astrology, yet in Western tropical astrology, I do see that we are absolutely in the precipice of big changes and progress. And this new moon is the first new moon that happens after Pluto enters Aquarius and occurs only days before the North Node and Chiron meet up in Aries. Remember, I told you about that a little bit earlier. I believe that date is like February 19th. And this, again, on our rampway, is a few months before Jupiter and Uranus, one of Aquarius rulers, meet up in Taurus. To say this Aquarius new moon is about change is an understatement. And this change is not about impacting massive, massive change. This massive impact of change that we are here to spark in the world has to happen within ourselves first. And so, in these times where we all simultaneously feel like we can't make a difference in the big global humanitarian, environmental, climate crises, sorry to take us there, we must remember, you must remember, I must remember that each one of us can make a difference. Even small changes collectively add up to bigger and bigger changes in a butterfly effect. This is why it's so important to remember that this change has to start from within you. That one change within you that is going to allow you to share forth your vessel of knowledge. Now, your choice to know your unique way of making a difference, right? That wisdom that only you have from your lived experience, from your healing journey, from your Chiron journey, also known as being a change maker and a leader. Yeah, that's you. You have to know your unique way. And your choice to shine brightly and contribute, pouring from that vessel, that Aquarian vessel, your knowledge in the way that only you can do, to be seen, to be heard, and to be known by your people. To shine and make a difference is how you make your mark, how you change the world, first starting from within and then changing one person, maybe like a client, a family member, a friend, then your circle of friends, then your community at large, rippling forth until we are absolutely changing the future. This new moon asks you to explore your one of a kind knowing and wisdom and pour that forth in that vessel of the water bearer. That is your Aquarius wisdom. Okay, my friend? So if you've been thinking about how is it that you make your mark, well, I want to invite you to Written in the Stars, bundled with star powered position that's happening at the end of February, the last week of February, February 26th through March 1st, and then the 4 Thursdays in March. So, Written in the Stars is my 5 day foundational training for astro curious seers, seekers, and change makers ready to attune to and amplify your one of a kind star powers. I want to teach you how to decode and decipher all of the astrological keys to your one of a kind, make your mark luminary leadership. In these 5 days, I'm going to teach you how to read and decipher the symbols of your chart. So even if you're brand new to astrology and you're like, I've never really learned how to read astrology chart, it's too hard. This training is for you because I break it down into very simple ideas. We'll be taking a look at your degrees, we'll be taking a look at the planets as processes and operate and directors of operations. We'll be taking a look at the houses as areas of life and your work. We'll be taking a look at aspects, the relationships between planets. And now, if you already know how to read your astrology chart, well, there's going to be another layer on top of this because in Written in the Stars, I'm looking at astrology from a branding, leadership, and an entrepreneurial perspective. So even if you know how to read astrology, you're going to layer on this new symbolism. Part of the reason why I'm sharing Rich in the Stars right now is because you are absolutely born to lead. We are changing the faces of leadership right here and right now, starting with this new moon. And we are living in a time where people desire authentic leaders, those who have turned their difficulties into learning experiences and challenges into opportunities. And Written in the Stars will show you exactly how your leadership and your journey is written in the stars. There's no one that has a chart like you, and there's no one who can lead just like you. Now, right now, I have a special that I'm offering it as a bundle with Star Powered Position because Star Powered Position takes you from where you left off in Rich in the Stars, where I teach you all of the different symbols. And in Star Powered Position, we start to interpret and apply your four large keys that position your brand, your business, your leadership, your entrepreneurial wisdom in the marketplace. Your brand is not your logo. And in order to have a memorable brand presence, you need to have a solid position, meaning the space that you take up in the marketplace, the what you do that differentiates you from everyone else in your field, the why you do it so that you can lead with your values and move through take risks and make decisions without feeling insecure. And then how you are meant to initiate and guide and lead that's authentic to you, that attracts your soul customers so that you can speak to their heart, knowing exactly what you are designed to serve and solve for them. All of this interpretation and applying it into your business in 4 weeks with Star Powered Position. This is the first time I'm teaching it live in a couple of years. And so I'm really excited to share this new and improved live version with actionable steps so that you can first learn how to read astrology in the Astrobrand way, and then you can interpret and apply this into your change making work, business, and leadership. So if you are as excited as I am and you're like, yes, I want this, you're feeling the call to change the faces of leadership, then this is your call. Please join me for Written in the Stars and Star Powered Position, February 26th through March 1st, and then Star Powered Position the last Thursdays of March. Head on over to starpowered.com/written in the stars. All one word. Okay. I'm super excited about this Aquarius new moon because it has all of this energy that's absolutely waiting for us. Because when you think about this Aquarius new moon, even before you go into Rich in the Stars, I really want you to think about what is that wisdom that you are meant to share. And I want you don't have to have all of the details out, but I want you to have that feeling of what does it feel like to be seen and recognized by my people? What does it feel like to be sought after? What does it feel like to own my differences and not feel uncertain or ashamed? What does it feel to absolutely know your unique wisdom that you're supposed to pour forth? What does it look like and feel like when your people are benefiting from your knowledge? What does it feel like when there are shared social values that you're calling in your people, your friends, your communities, your platform, because you all have the shared social values, because you spoke your social values. My social values is vulnerable leadership. And I love that I've been calling in all these change makers and entrepreneurs and coaches and healers and seers and seekers who want to share their wisdom more. What if you too could create your communities of belonging that hold these shared values and vision? How are you going to participate in those communities, the communities that you've built, the communities that you live in your neighborhoods? This is true democracy, to participate in these communities. And how are you going to lead to make a difference in those communities? These questions, I want you to reflect on these questions. And I have these questions written in the write up for the new moon. So make sure to check the notes, because when you can feel into these questions and answer these questions, you are going to know what you need to crack open in yourself. And what I mean crack open within yourself, of course, Aquarius is rule with Uranus, rules our nervous system. And our nervous system has to feel secure in order to be making these big leaps and bounds. And so to crack open means to tap into our nervous system, to be able to regulate it when we're feeling scared so that we don't get stuck in not sharing. This is absolutely what the Aquarius new moon wants you to explore as you open up all the ways that you will change yourself so that you can change the faces of leadership. Now, let's take a look at the Aquarius new moon from an astrology perspective, because what you'll notice with especially the new moons of this coming spring is that we have all of these concentrated energies. And this Aquarius new moon, we absolutely have the beginnings of our Aquarius party. Now, at the time of the Aquarius new moon, let me get my chart. Um, okay, so at the time of the Aquarius new moon, this chart is cast from San Francisco, where I live. Again, Aquarius new moon happens on February 9th, my husband's birthday, 2:59 p.m. Pacific. And you can see the beginning, the budding of this Aquarius party. We have the sun and the moon in Aquarius. We have Mercury that's been zipping through Aquarius, moving super fast at like top speed right now. It's like moving like 2.5 degrees, 2 degrees a day or so, getting faster and faster as it approaches the sun. And then we have Pluto, that of course is going to spend the next 20 some years in Aquarius. Mars, the moon is going to have left Aquarius, and then Mars is going to be joining in, and Venus is also moving super fast right now. Everything is getting really close to the sun. So all of the inner planets are just moving at top speed, moving forward. And remember, there are no planets, none of our major planets, that are in retrograde right now. So not only is everything moving forward, but everything is moving fast. So this is prime time to get shit done, okay, my friends? And so you got to do a new moon ritual for yourself and set those intentions. But going back to the spring new moons, you'll see that all of these new moons, when the sun and the moon meet, all the inner planets are kind of like clumped together. When we have the Pisces new moon, we're going to have the Pisces party with Saturn and Neptune. We have our Aries new moon, we're going to have the Aries party with the North Node and Chiron, in addition to some of the other inner planets. And then when we have our Taurus new moon, we're going to have all of the Taurus energies there. And so these new moons up until Taurus season are like hyper concentrated, wanting us to focus on that archetypal energy of like, how can you own your, and so archetypal energy, getting ahead of myself, archetypal energy of Aquarius, how can you own your differences? How can you really embrace your one of a kindness and feel secure enough in yourself to proudly share those differences? And so this new moon is also squaring Uranus. And this is one of the squares where the moon and the sun are approaching Uranus. And so this isn't so much somebody coming at you and saying, you got to change. this is coming within you. This is absolutely an intrinsic feeling where you're like, I know I need to move something forward. I know I have to liberate and break through with this. And so that new moon, or that new moon square Uranus, is truly asking you the money question. What inner change are you ready to make? If you need help finding that inner change, remember what I said in the beginning is try to think of the things that are preventing you from sharing your wisdom. That will help you, understand the reasonings, the fears that you need to address so that you can break through. But you can also look at the house that Uranus is occupying in your chart. When I was going through a lot of my client charts, I could see some of their hangups, whether it be like mindset because Uranus was conjunct their Mercury, or it was belief set because Uranus was in their ninth house. For me, my Uranus is in the 12th house. So, this self sabotage, I really got to take care of it. My self sabotage of comparisonitis. Oh, gotta love how the astrology, the symbolism works. But this square is just so important because the change again comes from within you. Now, remember, Aquarius has two rulers, both Saturn and Uranus, and they are in this beautiful what do you call it? Would this be like a fifth harmonic aspect called a quintile? And so a quintile is kind of like quintessential. It's a little bit magical. It's a little bit je ne sais quoi. And so Saturn and Uranus being in this kind of magical and beautiful aspect, usually, they're kind of oil and water. Saturn and Uranus are, I wouldn't make them like, I wouldn't call them besties or anything, but when they're in quintile, they've definitely figured out a way to make some magic. And Saturn, practical magic, Uranus, non-conforming magic. So what practical for you, yet non-conforming magical talent will you use to establish your own personal authority, expertise, or code of ethic? And so let me simmer that down for you and make that more easy. So you have some kind of non-conforming practical magic. Are you going to be brave enough to take out your magic wand and use that to increase your own personal authority and expertise? That's what Saturn and Uranus want of you. I have my little, I don't know if you can see it. I bought myself a little magic wand the other day. And then Uranus, one of the rulers of Aquarius, is making a trine to Venus. And a trine is a beautiful, harmonious, solid relationship, supportive relationship. And this aspect is asking you, who are your co creators and partners? Because you know what? Creating a vision does not happen alone. Being in a community does not make a community is not one person. So Venus is there reminding you that your co-creators and partners are waiting for you. They're looking for you. Who do you want them to be? Who will you reach out for support, and who will you in turn support? And lastly, with our Aquarius party, this all of the Aquarius energies, Pluto, Mercury, Moon, Sun. What in your leadership are you finally ready to share and build shared power in community? So I find this just such a beautiful new moon that is just ripe for you to take action and do the big inner healing so that you can spark your change. This is your first step on this long runway of this spring. We need you. Okay, so let's take a look at the new moon in the different houses, or by sign, because I want you to maybe personalize some of your new moons. If you know how to find 20 degrees of Aquarius in your chart, Whatever house contains 20 degrees of Aquarius is that area of your chart that is being activated. If you don't know how to find 20 degrees of Aquarius in your chart, well, guess what? I'm going to teach you that in Rich in the Stars, so make sure you sign up. Okay, so everybody take a look at your chart, find Aquarius of 20 degrees, and here are the house activation breakdowns. Okay, so this new moon, you are planting the seeds to spark change within yourself so you can make a lasting difference in your community and society. And if you're an Aries rising or have an 11th house activation, through your greater humanitarian impact and community leadership. If you're Pisces rising or have that 12th house activation, you're planting the seeds to make a difference in your community and society through your ability to reform ease and justice for the people. If you are an Aquarius rising or have that first house activation, you're creating change for society through your brand awareness and innovative leadership. If you're Capricorn rising or have that second house activation, you're creating change for your community and society through equitable and social justice values. Now, if you're a Sagittarius rising or a third house activation, you're planting the seeds to create change through your genius communications and how you share your wisdom. If you're Scorpio rising or have a fourth house activation, you're creating change, planting the seeds to create change through your rebellious emotional truth and safe communities. So, speaking your emotional truth and creating trusted, safe communities. Now, for my Libra friends, or if you have a fifth house activation, you are planting the seeds to create change through eclectic, creative joy, pleasure, and purpose. For my Virgo friends with our fifth or with a sixth house activation, you, my friend, are planting the seeds of change in your work's smart automations, so maybe a little bit of AI dabbling in there and bots, and ability to delegate with technology. Okay, for my Leo friends or seventh house activations, you're planting the seeds to create change through collaboration with your misfit co-creators. For my Cancer friends, or if you have an eighth house activation, you're planting the seeds to create change in your work through innovative ways to transform and leveraging abilities. My Gemini risings, like me, my Aquarius is in the ninth house. We are planting the seeds for expansive visioning and philosophical change making. Oh, yes, we are. And for lastly, my Taurus friends, again, excuse the way that I organize this. You are planting the seeds to create change in the way you deliver your ultimate mission through your humanitarian work. My friends, this is such a beautiful new moon. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this with you. I would love to hear what seeds that you are planting this Aquarius new moon. And if you are really feeling like that you want to know yourself in an absolutely precise, specific, and 100% unique to you way, then written in the stars and star powered position that are happening in late February and March is for you. Please head on over to starpowered.com/written in the stars and sign up now. All right, my friends, thank you. As a human design projector, my energy shines more brightly because of people like you who share my work. If you enjoy this podcast and want to help build a movement of innovative astrology and leadership and spark the intuitive revolution, please rate and review this podcast on Apple Podcasts, or better yet, share this podcast with your change-making besties. We will all shine brighter together as we create the future we want to see.